And headlines, well, they're meant to catch the attention of readers, but we'll take a look at some headlines that a watchdog group says are racially offensive.
Now that Unity 94 is almost over, have you thought about where your journalist group is meeting for next year's convention? Stay tuned for Unity News Now, coming up next.
From Atlanta, home of Unity 94. This is Unity News Now.
Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Wong. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Kelly Miner. Welcome to Unity News Now. A warning tonight for convention goers. The green briefcases donated to all participants are everywhere and they're hot. More than 6,000 briefcases were handed out during registration. With so many similar looking bags, it's easy to see how a person could grab someone else's bag. And now several participants have reported losing their Unity souvenir, and there's no replacement.
Anymore. We have no more to give or to sell.
I've just kept it on my shoulder at all times, and if things become a little heavier that I can't carry it around as easily, I go back to my hotel room and take out things that I don't need, and I head back over here to the Georgia World Congress Center.
Convention security say labeling your bags will reduce the chance of losing them.
Today's featured attraction at the Unity 94 convention actually happened several hundred miles away. It was in Washington, D.C. It's a speech from President Bill Clinton beamed back live to a crowded luncheon. Unity News Now reporter Julie Robinson was at that function and joins us now on the news set with details of that speech. Julie?
Thanks, Kevin. That's right, Kevin. The president is applauding the efforts of the Unity Convention. He says Unity 94's main goal, racial diversity, is important for his health care and crime bills.
Every person, no matter what his or her background, has an idea, a vision, an opinion to share that can enrich our nation.
President Clinton was unable to address the convention in person, but to a full house, satellite was the next best thing.
If you look at the top positions in the White House and cabinet today, you'll see the most able, talented group ever assembled. These appointees also happen to make up the most diverse administration in the history of our republic.
CBS News anchor Connie Chung introduced the president and moderated questions from the audience. Some he wasn't prepared to answer.
I think that our administration has worked very closely with the tribes, and I think we have shown our good faith in trying to protect these activities. We will continue to do so. I am not familiar with the specifics of the law, so I can't comment on that. I'm sorry.
And others he couldn't run away from.
How do you think the lack of diversity in the Washington press corps affects coverage of a multi-ethnic America?
I believe we have proved beyond question that you can have diversity and excellence. That's another one of those false choices people are always trying to put on the American people. So if it is true for the United States government, it ought to be true for the American press as well. I don't think I should say more than that, but I think that ought to be enough to say.
I wasn't very happy with the speech at all. I felt like it was a party political broadcast. I didn't really feel like he said anything that was relevant, very relevant to me as a black journalist.
I don't think there was much new in that presentation. I was curious to see how he stressed health, but more so how he stressed crime. I think that it may have to do with the fact that it was related to the present legislation that they're dealing with, but I think he could have talked a little bit more about the achievements of the people in his administration who are minorities and how he feels proud about that.
Most of the disappointed people also say that they wish the president was there in person. Mr. Clinton did get an invitation, but the White House says he had to decline due to a busy schedule. Kevin.
Thank you, Julie. As we said, thousands came this afternoon to hear the president speak. They were all ears. That is until technical difficulties interrupted the program.
Have you lost my sound? Okay, let's try again.
I mean, people just zone out. It's not personal. It's not, you can't have the interaction. You can't have the back and forth. And all the feedback. I mean, the whole session started out that way. So, I mean, it's just tough.
Staff has worked hard to try to work through the Indian gaming issues, to be supportive of the tribes.
The thousands of people attending Unity 94 had the opportunity to listen to professionals in the business, something they maybe have taken for granted because not everyone can hear. Nancy Hamana Robinson tells us that Unity provided one woman with her own personal interpreter.
This is how Unity 94 sounds to most people. But for Allison Chow, this is how the convention sounds to her. Allison is hearing impaired, but that's not stopping her from looking for a job.
I want to do copying work at like a daily newspaper.
Allison is Asian American and is the only hearing impaired person registered for Unity who needs a sign language interpreter. According to Unity 94 officials, Unity is required by law to accommodate Allison's special needs.
There's federal laws that specify that these services should be made available, just like in this building here. There's handicapped access facilities, bathrooms, phones, and escalators and so forth.
Allison's interpreter is from the Atlanta area.
The English Asian Newspaper Association organized it through an agency and about 1 month ago.
Allison says having an interpreter paid off at the job fair.
I took advantage of having an interpreter during one job interview.
Her disability didn't stop her from fitting in with all the other job seekers, but her accomplishments have a different sound of success. I'm Nancy Hamana Robinson for Unity News Now.
While we are calling this a Unity Convention, it's important that we remember just how diverse we are within each organization. Deborah Deaton tells us more about this part of Unity 94.
Called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Asian Americans. But what do these terms say about who we really are? Native Americans is used to describe more than 300 tribes, each having its own distinct language, culture, and traditions. To distinguish among themselves, Native Americans refer to one another as tribes.
Our tribal identity has always been of great importance to us as Native people, and that is how we generally prefer to be acknowledged.
And when people think of Asian Americans, they usually think of people from China or Japan. They forget the term includes the entire Asian continent, including countries like Malaysia and India. Hamani Gupta is tired of people asking her why she considers herself to be Asian.
What am I? I mean, India is part of Asia. India is right in the center of Asia. And, you know, all these other countries are just on the edge of Asia. So why am I not Asian?
And Gupta's frustration can be felt in other organizations as well. For instance, it may not be a problem to call someone a black journalist. However, one should use caution when labeling them as an African American journalist.
In that group of black journalists, you have African Americans, you could have Caribbean Americans, you could have African journalists from Africa.
So there seems to be a catch-22. Some terms are too general, while others don't include everyone. While Hispanics is an umbrella term, many would prefer to use Latino, but then Spaniards might feel left out.
Nobody's really going to be happy with either one, so there isn't any just one term to describe us all.
So perhaps we shouldn't look for terms to describe us all. We should look at ourselves as a mosaic instead of a melting pot. For Unity News Now, I'm Deborah Deaton.
At Unity 94, convention recruiters are looking to hire many journalists, but one booth on the convention floor wants to recruit people for other reasons. The National Marrow Donors Program is looking to save lives, and they need more people of color to be tested. If you would like to be a bone marrow donor, you can call 1-800-526-7809.
The shooting spree is over, and this time there are no victims, just a winning photographer. Unity 94 gathered together with amateur and professional photographers to compete for high stakes in what they call a shootout. Each of the photographers were given 12 hours and only 2 rolls of film in hopes of capturing the diversity of Atlanta. The winner, Chen-Chi Chang of the Baltimore Sun, won a one-of-a-kind Unity leather jacket. He'll also be taking home a trophy and $2,500.
I'm not going to tell you.
Although Chang did not wish for anyone to know what he is going to do with his money, he did say he was going to give some to his mother. Stay with us. There's much more ahead on Unity News Now.
And we'll tell you what's making some people of color angry when they read headlines like this.
We are an incredibly diverse group of people. In one school in Los Angeles, a grade school, there are 46 different Asian Pacific American languages that are spoken.
Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so I rise, I rise.
A child is sacred, and when that child first comes into the home, the family must welcome it. And if the child is happy and feels the want, he will come into this world very, very strong. And not to know that is to know nothing.
Help preserve traditional Native cultures by supporting the 29 American Indian colleges.
A quick glance at the headlines in America's daily newspapers could offend you. That's what a journalism watchdog group says. Unity News reporter Derek Dennis tells why.
Hustle and bustle of newspaper journalism, attention to detail can sometimes fall by the wayside. As a result, people of color fall victim to false and inflammatory news coverage. But a project called Newswatch is doing something about this. They have collected a series of questionable headlines, cartoons, and quotes reprinted in their own publication. Indian found murdered in Newtown. Asian invasion. The dark side of Islam. These are all headlines profiled by Newswatch as journalistic don'ts.
That's a general rule, and I think that headlines, descriptions, and stories, you should refrain from using the dark side of to describe something, to describe it in a negative way. Because that seems to imply that dark is bad and light is good.
Stanford Chen is an advisory member of Newswatch. He sees his organization not as a typical watchdog group, but as an instrument for learning.
What we're trying to do with this project is to find the stories that are both good and bad and comment on them and explain why we find them insensitive or racist or just or how they misportray the minorities.
But not all minorities find the headlines offensive. At least one person found some truth in the wording.
I think the headline Asian invasion isn't necessarily negative. This may mean that there are more Asians visible now, which I think is a positive thing for the Asian community.
Of course, opinions differ when it comes to what's offensive, but at least Newswatch is taking steps towards eliminating blatant insensitivity. Reporting for Unity News Now, I'm Derek Dennis.
Age, a topic that people all over the world are concerned about. Some feel that getting older in this business creates concern for one's job. Lorena Polito joins us now to give us an inside look at the issues of aging on television. Lorena?
Well, Kevin, I asked several TV journalists this question. Is there an age limit in TV news? The answer? It depends on who you talk to.
Does getting older mean losing your job? Many anchors and reporters believe age bias is alive and well in the newsrooms, but management seems to disagree.
I don't think there's really an age bias, no.
I think there was at one time. I think it's changing. I think that a lot of publicity about age bias and a lot of the cases that were brought has forced newsrooms to rethink their staffing.
They say that talent is the main factor involved in their hiring.
I think, especially at the Unity Conference this year, we're looking for talent, whether it be veteran reporters, younger talent, reporters, anchors. We're looking for fresh talent.
The on-air talent claims otherwise.
You know, I worked as a reporter, and certainly there are indications that it's there. A lot of times, station management, the way they choose anchors is very subjective. And we've seen cases, I've seen cases where older anchors were let go.
I think now that since I've been in this business nearly 10 years, I have noticed it.
I don't think
age bias can be ruled out as something people do use to discriminate.
Even though opinions vary as to whether or not age bias is alive and well in America's newsroom, it's an issue journalists will have to face in years ahead. I'm Lorena Pulido reporting for Unity News Now.
So as you can see, Kevin, it really does depend on who you talk to. And the issue doesn't look like it's going to go away as far as the female reporters are concerned.
Thanks. In case you didn't get to all the sessions this past convention week, a few panels were moderated by professionals working at the national level. Here's a look at the controversy that occurred in some of those sessions.
Why is it that we fall into the same trap that we say the white people have in terms of stereotyping ourselves?
Because for Asian Pacific Americans, many times we are used as the buffer to other minorities saying, look at them, they've made it, just do what they've done. That could be the most damaging thing in the United States, for one minority group to be pitted against another.
What Stuart has just said is one of the reasons why I join all of you in celebrating this first ever Unity Conference. Long may we have these kinds of events.
The sadness in my heart is that we used to have Ricky Ricardo. We used to have Speedy Gonzalez. We used to have the Cisco Kid and Zorro. And now, in general market television, we're nowhere.
For years, Hispanics in Southern California have been complaining about not getting on television enough. Last year, they had the most incredible coverage. It was the Menendez brothers.
We refuse to be used in a demeaning, degrading way through mascots in sports and the type of imagery that Hollywood still gives us.
You should visit King's grave while you're in Atlanta. And don't tell him that he died to get you a gold key to the bathroom. Tell him that he died so that you could tell the truth in places that the truth was not told. And all of our stories is what needs to be told. A price was paid for it. It was not for your personal or self-aggrandizement or employment. It was for our collective empowerment toward a humanity that would help everybody.
Jimmy Carter is one of Atlanta's most famous people. The former president is honored all year round at the Carter Presidential Center. There, visitors can see pictures and learn more about this civil rights advocate. And be sure to drop by the Martin Luther King Center for Social Change. There you can see Dr. King's gravesite and the memorial on Auburn Avenue, about 2 miles outside of downtown.
Up next, we'll show you what two organizations have got going for them.
The two groups have found an interesting way to raise money.
Sometimes when we deal with stereotypes, we're dealing with a lot of fears. And that when we go to where the fear is, we often can come up with some really wonderful stories.
先生、ありがとうございました。こんにちは、お元気？このチキンとっても美味しいわ。一口いかが？
エイスは日常の接触では感染しません。
詳しくはエイジアンエイズプロジェクトへお電話ください。415-227-0946です。
Growing up, Yvette Ortiz dreamed of making a difference. But she soon learned all her intelligence and determination weren't enough to make it come true. She needed more. Anheuser-Busch believes everyone deserves a chance to realize their dreams. That's why for the last 10 years, they've been the leading supporter of the National Hispanic Scholarship Fund. Because helping people like Yvette means helping so many more.
A big part of Unity's news coverage has many students from the four organizations, all here on scholarships. Well, you're probably all wondering how the four organizations could afford to foot the bill. Reporter Don Wilkie has the story.
Each year, thousands of dollars are raised at auctions like this one. Conference goers get a chance to bid on anything from jackets to paintings to autographed books. And what's the money used for?
They're meant to build up money in which to give to promising Native journalism students from around the country.
But some organizations, like NAHJ, believe the conference should be just that. A time when journalists can gather and exchange ideas and not worry about having to dig into their pocketbooks.
Traditionally, we do not hold fundraisers at our annual convention because we like to separate the functions. We believe that people who are coming to our convention have already spent a lot of money.
But other organizations, like the Asian American Journalists, like to take advantage of a one-time conference setting to get members to contribute rather than to burden them with another trip.
Instead of having it at another time of the year where, it would require our student and members to travel twice for a convention, it's a financial hardship for them, so we decided to have it at our annual convention.
Even though all four organizations hold fundraisers at different times, they all have one common purpose: to help future journalists.
It'll not only help me with my education, and it'll allow me to, not so much worry about the money situation part of it, but more focus on my education and my books and stuff like that.
Besides paying for their education, some of the money raised helps give students a chance to get hands-on experience. This student television project, for example, was paid for in part with funds raised at previous conferences. For Unity News Now, I'm Dawn Wilkie.
The aspiring television students who are here at Unity News now have been working countless hours behind the scenes. But oftentimes, professionals who volunteer their time are forgotten. Reporter Erica Seaborn talks to us and tells us how they helped put our show together.
The field of broadcasting is very competitive for all races. However, people of color experience an even greater challenge. Unity News Now, the Unity 94 Student Television Project, is offering an invaluable opportunity for students of color. Reporters and producers from television stations from all across the country have united as one to help students have the ultimate challenge: putting together a daily news show. These professional journalists are using their vacation time to help broaden and enlighten students' perspectives about TV news broadcasting.
I think it's going fantastically. I'm really very happy. I guess I can say I'm a bit surprised.
Other journalists assisting with this project fear that the students will benefit in more ways than one.
Of the 40 students we have, I would say that there would be 25%, I think, would get a job within the next 2 or 3 months. Some are that good. Others, maybe because they're younger, maybe they didn't come from programs that don't have a strong program, maybe not ready yet, but they do have some promise.
Steve Malave, associate producer at WNBC in New York, feels that students in this pressure position should not try to peak too early or get overly anxious, but to ripen like fruit. Students who were chosen to participate in this prestigious event not only have the chance to learn more about their field, but they also have the wonderful opportunity to meet great people. I'm Erica Seaborn, reporting for Unity News Now.
Still lots more to come, so stick around and we'll be right back.
The Lummi language does not have words for a lot of things. We never thought we'd need them.
Help preserve traditional native cultures by supporting the 29 American Indian colleges.
He stood about 5'9" tall, but he was a giant. Billy Thomas. He ran the Boys and Girls Club where I grew up. Now, I know today is different. Young people face problems I never even had to think about. But that's why now we need the Boys and Girls Club. It's a positive place where thousands of people like Billy Thomas help young people succeed. Does it work? It did for me.
Support the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Panel members at nearly all the sessions are urging media professionals to help them in their crusade for equality. And several have also voiced their concern about the current coverage of minorities in the media.
We're very large numbers of people on this continent have been here from day one, but we don't exist in terms of the media.
The person who is most directly in your view is Congressman Luis Gutierrez from Chicago. Now, in the caption, they identify the two congressional folks in the back, neither one of which had anything to do with the story. They're not mentioned in the story. We have been invisible, folks. We have been in
The group of panelists also included Vernon Bellecourt, Winona LeDuc, Yuri Kuchayoma, and Stuart Cow, and Reverend Al Sharpton.
Sad to say, but Unity 94 is almost just a memory. But as Nydia Sanchez tells us, there's always next year, but you better start making plans now to attend your association's convention.
Do you know where your organization is meeting next year? In case you don't, NABJ will be in Philadelphia, NAJA will meet in Bismarck, NAHJ will convene in El Paso. And what about AAJA? Well, they'll find themselves on the sunny beaches of Hawaii. We went around asking members where they'd rather go next year, and this is what they said.
I think Philadelphia's just fine. I mean, Hawaii's great. I've never been to Hawaii. I've been to Philadelphia a couple times. Philadelphia's a great city.
What did you think about that?
A little jealous. Yeah, I'd rather be in Hawaii, but it's okay.
We help people get jobs. That's the work that we do, so we can do it anywhere, whether we're on the beach in Hawaii or over there in hot El Paso.
Did you know that AAJA is meeting in Hawaii? Would you rather be there?
Well, not really, because my culture is more based in the United States and the mainland, so it's more important for me to be closer to my people.
While it's not yet clear whether or not there'll be another Unity conference, board directors are discussing the possibilities of another conference within the next 5 years. For Unity News Now, this is Nydia Sanchez.
Unity 94 has been in the works for more than 6 years. This history-making event is bringing the 4 minority journalism groups together. Reporter Susie Tyson has the story.
We've seen it time and time again. The murders, the riots, the unrest.
I think people of color just simply assume that they had no access whatsoever.
And now 4 groups of minority journalists want to do something about it.
This is somewhat of a unique position for most of us because we are used to perhaps covering the news, not making the news.
These journalists say people of color are getting a bum rap.
Too often, the African American face, especially the face of the African American male, is considered a criminal face.
There are stereotypes about Asian Americans, ranging from those that label us as kind of passive to a stereotype that says that we don't suffer from discrimination.
When they start talking about people of color and minorities, and they go out and survey Hispanics and blacks and Asian Americans, and notably missing is the Native American community, I always ask why.
All 4 presidents agree that unity is a great idea and that there's strength in numbers. But what happens after the convention is over and everyone goes home?
We hope those attending will take advantage of that opportunity to learn about one another, Asian Americans, African Americans, Latinos, and Native Americans, and that we bring back to our communities what we have learned here.
For Unity News Now, I'm Susie Tyson.
Be sure to join us Saturday night when Unity News Now brings you Dateline Atlanta and a special look at some of the highlights of the Unity Convention. It will air at the same time right here on WPBA Channel 30.
For now, thanks for joining us and good night.
Good night, everyone.